Car Connection friends, welcome and thanks for joining us and thanks for watching. Don't forget to visit us on our website where all the information is available for you to connect with us in one spot at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's CCBUSNET.com. In the top right hand corner, you'll see all the links for all the platforms Car Connection's involved with: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Click the business tab to open our profile there. iHeartRadio, and also our merch store. That's all available to you. I put the information in the description of each video down at the bottom so that you can connect. All the logos for the program partners that make this video possible are on the home page of our website as well. Just click on any logo and open it and connect with our program partners. And today we'd like to spotlight certified financial planning professionals Tony Miele and Larry Tetro. Combined, they have over 50 years experience as fiduciaries. They are my personal financial planners for well over 20 plus years. They take care of all the things that most of us don't want to talk about. Investments. Are your investments making you money, or are they parked at the bank and then they just send you home with a little Ziploc bag and go, oh, this is for you? That's not having money work for you. That's you're working hard for your money. So for portfolios and debt retirement, estate planning, if you don't have an estate plan for with wills and powers of attorney, if you have a checkbook and a bank account and a car in the driveway, you have an estate and children, you need an estate plan just for that. And life insurance, critical illness insurance, they handle all of that. So you know what you get? You get a discovery meeting for absolutely no charge, complimentary, no sales gimmicks. They're not going to sell you anything. Just click on either Tony Miele or Larry Tetro and let them know that I sent you. They don't need any more clients, but they've promised our Car Connection clients since 2007 a 1 hour, what we call an hour and a coffee discovery meeting. Get it done today. And as my professor would always say, Motormouth, if somebody's giving you advice and they're not standing where you want to be, smile, be respectful, and then run, because you want you want information from those who have the fruit on the tree. Well, we're back into this tire we're fixing. This is part 2. This is a real deal. It went flat, was driven on. We've determined where the hole is and we marked it. But now we have a secondary problem. If we just go ahead, fix the hole, slap it down the road, we needed to make sure the tire was healthy and it's safe to go back into service. But the second problem is we got rust around the tire. I've cleaned that off, and now we have to, and rubber compound from somebody else. We got to get it all off. So this is how I do it. Just a cordless drill. Something you can probably dig up at home. I have other tools and equipment I could use, but you don't probably have it at home. You don't have a tire machine. This is how I do it. I got to get that rubber off. Liquid rubber does not fix air leaks. You have to clean the rim, and then I'm going to show you the way I do it, the way I was trained as a tech. I've been 4 decades in the trade working on trucks. Highway trucks, coaches, diesels. I have all my tickets. And this is how we were trained to do it by our military instructor. So now we're cleaning up the other guy's mistake, which is putting liquid rubber on there. And then this, you know what would happen? You're generally back in the shop 6 months, 9 months down the road because it's leaking again. If you put rubber against this bead, and you don't have something that's going to stop corrosion getting in there, moisture gets trapped right where I'm cleaning up, and then it makes rust, and then it opens the tire, and now you have a bead leak. So if all we do is put some black rubber goo on there, we're only putting a patch job on it, because it's going to come back. I guarantee you, every time. So now I'm cleaning up the rubber, so I can now make sure that the customer is not going to be looking after the same tire. So then I go one step further by hand. See, this is where the guys in the shop lose it. They just don't get on it. Where's my other brush? Brought it over here, didn't I? Maybe not. I guess I didn't. This one will work. I have another one that's more aggressive. So now, this is clean. I don't feel anything there I'm unhappy about, so we're good. A little rubber there, that's off. All right, we're good there. So just put my tools out of the way. This is my paint booth. You'll get to see that after, how cool that works. I'm not spraying the garage door. I'm out of the way of vehicles. Okay, so, all right. So now we're gonna flip this baby over, but just before I do that, I'm gonna show you this little fella right here. See that thing right there? That's your TPMI sensor, and there's one on each wheel if your vehicle's equipped with tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS. These always go bad because air has water in it, and these don't like moisture. So the sensors tend to go bad because they rust out, they corrode. There's a circuit board in here, and this is Bluetooth. It's sending a signal to your TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, and letting it know if the tire is up to par or not. And then you're usually the one that sees the tire going doot, 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 just like my Pops. Hey Pops, do you think we should pull over and just make sure that tire's okay? Oh no, it'll be all right. Well, how does he know that? Does my Pops have Bluetooth? He's reading their actual signal? I don't know. But that's how this system works. If it's flashing, you need to have a look. If it's flashing and it's incorrect after I take a real tire pressure check with my handy dandy tire pressure gauge, then this is probably faulty, 99.9%. So if you pull over and you check it and it has the exact pressure but it's still flashing even after you erase the code, then guess what? And they're cheaper than they used to be. This is about 90 bucks. And yes, they will go bad again. That's how it works. Yep, that's how it works. Wasn't that loud? Would that wake you up in the morning? Okay, so we're ready to put this tire back on, and then we're gonna pump it up, and then I'm gonna ream it out, and I'm gonna install a plug. That's what's coming next. The next step is we're gonna make sure this tire doesn't leak on Motor Mouth's watch. And this is how I save you money as a tech. But if you didn't watch the first episode, you got to know that the tire was driven on. And again, I'm going to remind you, when the tire is flat or the TPMS is giving you a signal that you got a tire that's not quite right, stop and have a look. Get out, do a walk around. So what I'm putting on here is high-tech wheel bearing grease. And as you can see, I have it all set up to do it. This is how I do it. And now there'll be a barrier of petroleum there, and the rust can't start. So it will not leak next time. Not on my watch. So I'm doing this one time for you the same way I would do it for everyone else. And from that bucket of grease, I probably installed about 2,000 tires. At least. This bucket I've had probably since like about 2,000. Ready for another one. Yep. And just, that's how you do it. That's how we did it. That's how we were trained. And it works. Putting rubber on the rim, liquid rubber, is just a cheap way, a wimpy way of actually fixing the problem. And they're just masking the problem. And it's going to come right back. And you're going to do it again. And you're going to build for it again. So this is how you save money. If you want to save money on car repairs, then you are on the right channel. Because I will show you the right way to do it, which in the end saves you money. Okay, so now I marked this. That line, the straight line, represents the leak. The arrow represents my valve stem. So we're going to put this side on first, and then I'm going to spin it and line everything up. So this line is where the wheel weight's going to go. So I don't have to bill you to also balance it. Look at that. Okay, so now we're going to tire, and I'm going to spin it around, line up my valve stem. Now we're going to put this side on, press and hold. Rotate. Done. Just like that. Okay, what are we doing next? We make sure we're lined up. And we are. That's where our weight's going to go. Time to pump it up. What? We got to put the stem back in on this rim. It doesn't like it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it depends on the Schrader valve. That's why you got to have your tools ready. Yeah, I'd like another cabinet right there, and then I'll move this. And that would be all my tire supplies. That's my thoughts. Okay, we're going to pump this back up. Here we go. And this will not leak. Good for 100. Well, maybe 99. Maybe. We'll get this pump back to where it belongs, and then we're going to ream it. But I'm going to put the wheel weight back on because I don't need to take it off the rim anymore. We will lose a little bit of air when I put the plug in. But we have air here. We have R, A-R-E, R. We'll get it to 35, and then we'll touch it up after we plug it. Beauty. Beauty-miss. Okay, so we'll just leave that cover off for the moment, but we can put the wheel weight back on. So this is how I do it. We want to clamp this a bit tighter now, so I just take it and just tap that down a little bit, the claws, and then I'm going to put that right there, and I'm going to whack it on. And one for good luck. Done. So that part is done. So what do we do next? I knew you'd ask. So we're going to knock that off of there. I always make sure that's tight. Always, so it doesn't skip around. Like I said, I've known this tire machine for a long time. So now, let's find our spot. And there it is. Now we're going to take our reamer, and then I got to go out to the shed, the mini barn, and get some plugs. We pulled the piece out. We just got to get in there now. Get a reaming tool in there. We got to get the wires. There's steel belts in there like this. So what we have to do to get the plug in there, we're just going to curl them around. Then when the plug goes in, the barbs will hold it. We got to make the hole bigger. Okay, all right, so we're going to stop this here, and we'll do a third part, which will show you how to plug it. So we're going to install the plug next, so don't go away. Come back and see the final episode, which is how to plug a tire. So this is going to be, that's one of our tools. This is the other tool. Big hypodermic needle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Happy motoring, happy, healthy motoring, and we'll be back in just a little bit to show you the wrap up. So don't go away. Come right back and visit us. Bye for now. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. If you enjoyed the video, like I know you did, ring the notification bell.